Buenas noches, gente. This is, as always, Isidro Montalvo Espinosa, broadcast coordinator for Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña en Vivo. We are bringing you a fourth game from the Copa Mundial of 1906. This time, the Leones de Cuba take on the English Roses. This is the fourth day. We're still at Victor Nieves, attendance steadily climbing up towards the 4Ks as more people manage to make it to Cambuy, maybe find housing or use that wonderful car service that our co host, the redoubtable Luisa, has mentioned in previous commercials. Still cloudy, wind is blowing out to center like it was yesterday, and there's really no point in delaying the start of this game. It's time we get down to the field. And as we look at the field here, you can see the English field, the outfield in particular, very tilted towards the right side of things, whereas the infield stronger on the left side. That'll be something interesting for the Cubans to deal with. As we get into this game, Cuba lost their first game. England won their first, a 2-1 victory against, if I remember correctly, Jamaica, while Cuba lost the 2-1 match to the Soberanos regional team. These two teams face each other for the first time. And what we've got here should be an interesting match. Neither one of these teams was predicted to make a ton of noise in the tournament, but one of them is still quite likely to make the playoffs, and it may not be the one you think. At any rate, we won't delay it any further. It's time for the starting lineups for today. First, for the visiting Leones de Cuba, that visiting is always in 72-point air quotes. Leading off and playing left field from the Leones de Habana, number 28, Edelmiro Pichardo. Batting second and playing second base from the champion Marmoleros de Nueva Gerona, number 82, Juan Cubillos. Batting third and playing center field from the Pericos de Holguín, number 27, Pablo Niño. Batting fourth and playing right field from the Elefantes de Cienfuegos, number 15, Desiderio Quiñones. Batting fifth and playing third base from the Escultores de las Tunas, number 21, Lino Rosario. Batting sixth and playing first base, also from the Marboleros de Nueva Gerona, number 4, Esquilo Castro. Batting seventh, the shortstop, also from the Pericos de Holguín, number 9, Fernando Jaramillo. Batting eighth and catching from Bahia Blanca, Argentina, which you may note is not in Cuba, special prospect from the Navegadores de Nahuabo, number 14, Spike Stonehand, whose lips are much pinker than we had ever realized before we went to color portraits. And batting ninth, the designated hitter from the Rebeldes de Boca, number 22, Jeremias Lopez. Certainly one of the older men on this side for international competition. We'll see how that goes. On the other side of things, for the England Roses, I guess we'd have to say, leading off and playing shortstop from the Insolentes de Fajardo, it's number 2, Tony Corky Crampton. Batting second and playing right field from the Artilleros de Maunabo, also confusingly, number 2, Rob Speed Bump Johns, whose father, I believe, should be in the stands. He played for the Sheffield Talons until recently. Batting third and playing second base from the Tortugas de Culebra, number 8, Charles Wilson. Batting fourth and playing center field from the Navegadores de Nahuabo, number 17, Graham Underwood. Batting fifth and playing third base from the Taínos de Gurabo, number 8, Patty Grout. Batting sixth and playing first base from the Capitanes de Mayagüez, number 24, Darren Lynch. Batting 7th and playing left field from the Tumbabrazos de Carolina, number 33, Connor McDonald. Batting 8th, the designated hitter for the Petroleros de Maturin, number 25, Ewan Drummond. And batting 9th and catching from the Jinetes de Toa Baja, number 13, Dermot Mount. Pitching tonight for the Roses is Mo Tuck from the Soneros de Santiago de Cuba, number 4. Had an okay year with them, certainly. Got a curveball, cutter, and a circle change. That is his signature pitch. We'll see how he does against the top of the lineup. Pichardo coming up against him. It's time to get started. There will be a number of other games, so we'll update you as usual after every third inning. It's time for international baseball here as we pan around Estadio Victor Nieves on the 4th day of the Copa Mundial. Pichardo on the 1-2 count. Hits one not quite past the second baseman, but it doesn't matter. Wilson can't hold on to it, and Pichardo safe on a reach on error. It'll bring up Juan Cubillos, who's 1 for 4 on the day. Comes up with a man on first and no outs. 1-0 count on Cubillos. They're breaking for second there, and Pichardo easily in there with his first stolen base of the tournament. Surprising, none of the Cubans had one coming into this game. The Cuban League usually emphasizes base running, so that's a little bit surprising. Perhaps they'll want to challenge Mount here behind the plate. 1-1 count with a man on second now and still no outs. And a bunt attempt, but he fouls off the circle change. It's 1-2. With 2 strikes on him, let's see if Tuck goes for the jugular here. Instead, it's brought to a full count. That's a fly ball over left field. McDonald has it. And that's out number 1. Next up, Pablo Niño, 1 for 4 so far in this tournament. Man on second and 1 out. Again, another steal. Pichardo way out in front of the ball. His second steal of the tournament in as many ABs after his own. Pablo Niño batting .471 against Mo Tuck, and with a 1-2 count there, it's an RBI groundout. Pablo Niño scores the first run of the game for the Leones here in the first inning on a 2-out. Ground ball to second. Charles Wilson, no chance to get the out at home, so he goes for the second out. That'll bring up Desiderio Quiñones. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Not an earned run for Mo Tuck there, but he won't be happy about it. 2 outs and the base is empty. Quiñones going after the first pitch, but it's a line out right to Darren Lynch, and he ends the inning. The Leones pick up a run despite not getting, well, I don't need to tell you. You can read the box score. Cuba takes the lead 1-0. The Roses are going to have to respond, and they've got a chance because facing them is Cuban pitcher number 9 from the Tinajones de Camagüey. It's Hernan Cruz. He did quite well for Camagüey this year. Pretty low ERA, a little bit above average. Would have been more above average, I think, in the Puerto Rican leagues. Curveball, changeup, splitter, and cutter. Very much a ground ball, weak contact type of guy. He'll face Crampton, who's 0 for 3 on the day. On the 1-2 count. Strike 3. Crampton frozen with a cutter that seemed to break below the zone, but the umpire's hand goes up. Here comes Rob Johns. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Rob Johns, usually, I think these days, mostly a second baseman, but he can technically play all over the place. Excellent defensive wizard at second base, though. And he also goes down on the cutter. This time the other way. Cruz effectively using that cut fastball against both left and right-handed hitters here. For that, he gets to face Charles Wilson, who's 1 for 4 on the day. 2-1 count against him. Wilson launches it into center field, but it is easily in Niño's glove, and we are through 1 inning. England goes down easily. No change in the score. Cuba's still up 1-0. Top of the second, Mo Tuck, 15 pitches in, will face Rosario, Castro, and Jaramillo. Rosario 1 for 4 already in the tournament as he leads off the second inning here. Bounces that one to third base. Grout with the low throw, but it's an easy pick for Lynch. He's got it. That's out number 1. Middle circle change there. Rosario will be kicking himself for letting that one go by or not getting a good enough hammer on it. Here comes Esquilo Castro, who's over 4. He takes Tuck to a full count, but cannot escape Lynch at first base. That one doesn't bounce quite right down the line. And even though they're getting plenty of pitches out of the England hurler, they are not able to get anything past him. Here comes the shortstop, Jaramillo, unsurprisingly 0 for 2 on the day. 2 outs and the base is empty, and Tuck so far, great luck with those middle pitches. 1-0 count for Jaramillo. Bounces that to the shortstop. Crampton has it and launches it to Darren Lynch. Good rebound from Mo Tuck, preventing any kind of base running wizardry from the Cuban lineup, and the Leones will now have to tool down and respond against the heart of the England Roses, starting with Graham Underwood, who's 1 for 4 with a ribby, against Hernan Cruz, who got through that first inning on 12 pitches with 2 strikeouts. Underwood going after the first pitch. Absolute can of corn into center field, unfortunately. Nino has it in plenty of time, and that's out number 1. Patty Grout coming up next. He's 0 for 2, but he's drawn a walk in this here tournament. Underwood, by the way, one of 2 Englishmen to have stolen a base, the other being Crampton. Grout here, 2-2 count. He strikes out on the splitter. First non-cutter strikeout for Hernan Cruz, and the bases remain empty with 2 outs for Darren Lynch, who is 0 for 3 on the day. McDonald on deck as Lynch puts that one in, and it's the first hit of the game by either ball club. Bloop into short left. Darren Lynch, who a while back was supposed to be the savior of the Mayagüez offense, makes it to base there. It'll be Connor McDonald coming up next. He's 0 for 2. He's also drawn a walk or 2 in his time. And on the 2-2 count, hard contact right to second base. Unfortunately, Cubillos has it, throws to first, and it was not a good year for the Roses. Here in the second inning, Cuba remains ahead as we are through 2. The Leones have a chance to respond there. Spike Stonehand, Jeremias Lopez, and Pichardo coming up against Mo Tuck, who's through 2 innings on 27 pitches. Stonehand 0 for 2 with a walk on the record, but here he does the usual Stonehand thing and strikes out. Tuck's first K of the night on a 4-pitch strikeout, a curveball right down the middle. Jeremias Lopez taking what appears to be his first cuts here. I guess because they're facing a lefty. Lopez with a long hit. That's what veteran leadership gives you. The 41-year-old putting in an extra base hit. And not only a double, but a sliding triple. Unbelievable. Jeremias Lopez here. The first hit of the game for the Cubans. And it is a beautiful little shot into right center. John's having to catch that, hit the relay man, and nowhere close. They could not get to him. That puts another run 90 feet away with 1 out for the top of the lineup, starting with Pichardo, who's 0 for 1 on the day. 1-0 count. Pichardo hits that one to Wilson, who for the second time unable to make the play. Lynch cannot save that diving throw from Wilson. It's an error. So not only is Pichardo safe at first, but the run scores. So both ends of that play gone bad. It's an RBI, what should have been a ground out. Instead, it's an RBI reach. And the Cubans are now up 2-0. Los Cubanos taking double the lead here in the 3rd inning. Poor Mo Tuck, still no earned runs, but he would take the loss now. Here comes Juan Cubillos. He's 0 for 1 on the day. First pitch, and Pichardo. Mount doesn't even try this time. Pichardo now 3 for 3 on stolen bases here as he goes to second base. 1 out, 0-1 count on Cubillos. Very next pitch, bounces it to Grout at third. They'll get him out at first, but that was a hit and run. Pichardo able to take third and put himself in good position here if Nino can get something going. He's got that RBI ground out back from the first inning. 2 outs and a man on third. What can he do? Well, the answer is not much. He launches it to Grout, who makes an accurate throw over to first, and the Leones would just get that one run, combining a hit and an error, but stranding their next runner. They now lead 2-0, as England gets a chance to go up against Hernan Cruz once again. He's through 2 innings of 24 pitch, 1 hit, 3 strikeout ball. He faces Ewan Drummond, who's 0 for 3. Drummond, I think the only Venezuelan player, as he goes down swinging on that cutter once again. Got him down and in with the cut fastball. Cruz collects strikeout number 4 and faces Dermot Mount, who's gotten a hit in this tournament. He's 1 for 2. 1 out, bases empty. That is lined into center field, and it's off the wall. Center fielder Pablo Nino has to shorten up to get to it, and Dermot Mount with a corking big hit to put a run in scoring position. At the very least, a runner. We'll see how he can make it happen. Not the fastest man in the world, our Dermot, but he might be able to come around third and score if Corky Crampton, who struck out in the first and is currently batting triple zeros in this tournament, can use that plate discipline, put it to some profit for his ball club. He sure does. He takes it to a full count, and that's down the line. The third baseman there, Rosario, unable to get to it. It's an RBI double, and the English are on the board. Corky Crampton with an RBI 2-base hit. Lino Rosario trying to predict where that was going to land. Couldn't quite get there. And the throw from left field only holds him away from a triple. The Leones still up 2-1 after that, but Cruz got to be careful here. The tying run in scoring position. Rob Johns 0 for 1 on the day. 1-0 count here. He struck out as well last time. And he's going to send that one into left field. This game is tied. Another throw from left field, and it's another RBI double. Pichardo unable to get to either ball in time, and the throw to home plate not even close. England ties it right back up after those 2 runs from the Leones. With 2 successive RBI doubles, and they're in business. It's a whole new ball game. Not great left field defense there, really costing the Cubans, as Charles Wilson comes up with a chance to score the go-ahead run. Rob Johns, fastest man, possibly on this, second fastest man on this ball club, forgetting that Graham Underwood exists. Wilson 0 for 1 on the day. He would certainly like a chance to redeem himself, and he'll get it. Johns breaking for third, and Charles Wilson, who is directly responsible for both of those runs, they get Rob Johns at the plate. Pichardo, with a little redemption of his own to save the tie, launches a laser to home plate. And Hernan Cruz takes a long breath on that one. But he's not out of the woods yet. Here comes Ham Underwood, who's 0 for 1 on the day. 2 outs and a man on first. The go-ahead run still on base here. As Wilson tries to steal second, perhaps a little bit desperate there after Johns got thrown out at the plate. And Stonehand apparently throws his first runner out of the tournament. So the Roses do tie it up, but they don't take the lead. We are through 3 innings. Let's take a quick look at the scores around. Ireland currently shutting out Venezuela to the tune of 3-0. Celedonio Torres about to come up in the top of the 4th. Becken Trenent through 3 innings, having allowed just 2 hits, no walks or strikeouts. Eto'o Shirley, our old friend, just popped out to end the 3rd. Les Grenadiers for Haiti are up 2-1 against the Neptunes in the bottom of the 3rd. Jean Riviere is through 2 1/3 innings, allowing an earned run, a walk, and a hit. Roberto Calzacao, another old friend, coming out to bat here in the bottom of the 3rd with, or pardon me, he's already at bat. He's got 2 strikes on him with 1 out and the bases empty. ID on 2 runs and 6 hits. Wales shutting out Europe, also 3-0 in the 4th. John Anderson just grounded out for the Internacional. And it's Scott Blackmore coming up to bat against Vladik Ofitsirov, lately of the Picudos Ceiba and the Harbor Masters in Galway. He's through 3 innings, 1 earned run, and 1 strikeout. those are all the games we've got for you. So let's get back to the top of the fourth here. Mo Tuck, through 3 innings on 37 pitches, a hit, no runs, and 1 strikeout. But this game is tied at 2. Desiderio Quiñones will look to try and stop that. He's 0 for 1 on the day. 2-1 count on Desiderio Quiñones, and that is a big launch into right field. Speed bump Johns, plenty of time to get in underneath it. And that's out number 1. Bases remain empty for Lino Rosario, who's 0 for 1. 1-2 count. Rosario, another big fly out, but Underwood, plenty of time to run over to his left. Good catch there. Ham reading it off the bat, getting in position, catching the ball. That's exactly why he's starting in center field. Esquilo Castro next up. He's 0 for 1. 2 outs. Bases remain empty. Castro, 2-0 count. Punches that one right to Darren Lynch at first, and that's a quick inning. The Leones unable to get anything across here in the top of the fourth, and they've given the Roses a golden opportunity to capitalize on the pitches they squeezed out of Hernan Cruz. Ham Underwood in his perfect role as leadoff hitter here, 0 for 1 on the day. He's only had 1 hit, but he does have an RBI. Hernan Cruz, meanwhile, 3 innings pitched, 44 pitches, 5 hits, 2 home runs, and 4 strikeouts. Ham taking him to a full count, and he draws Hernan Cruz's first walk. That is a dangerous thing to do there. 9 pitch at bat, ending in a walk to a man who is incredibly dangerous on the base paths. And no one knows that better than Spike Stonehand, the guy behind the plate, because they're normally teammates. And this last season, usually batted next to each other. So first pitch to Patty Grout. He goes for the sac bunt. Underwood easily there. And Patty Grout reaches on the infield hit. It's a single for the Roses. And there are 2 men on with no outs. Way too much time for Hernan Cruz to get rid of that ball. And though Patty Grout is, unless I missed my guess, not the world's fastest runner, he's certainly not slow either. A good hit from Darren Lynch could turn this into a 4-2 game in a hurry. 0-1 count for Darren Lynch. And that's exactly what we expected. They're taking advantage of the hit and run there. And Underwood and Grout. Oh, bad throw from the center fielder there. And Ham Underwood scores the go-ahead run on Darren Lynch's liner. Into short center, Nino tries to make it happen, but the catcher has to move off the line. Underwood scores, and England takes the lead 3-2. The Roses are ahead. And stop me if you've heard this one before, but there are 2 on and no outs. Connor McDonald comes up next. He's 0 for 1. He also takes Cruz to a full count and draws a bases-loading walk. And for the first time in a while, the English cheers are quite appropriate. So, the pond is full of ducks. Ewan Drummond coming up next. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Let's see how many runs he can bring across here. Cruz suddenly badly in need of a cheap out, which he is not going to get from the bottom of this lineup. 1-2 count. Swung on, lifted into right field. Finally, they get one in. And turns out I'm wrong. Quiñones able to make that catch and retire Drummond. That's out 1. Putting the double play very much in contention. Dermot Mount, who had a double back in the 3rd inning, comes up an inning later with a chance to blow this game wide open. Will he do it? It's a 2-1 count. Mount with a liner down the line. That is going to score at least 1. Quiñones has to hesitate there on the throw. And looks like they score 1. The bases will remain loaded. Dermot Mount with his 2nd hit of the night. Puts one over the first baseman's head. And though Quiñones tries to get it in quickly enough, all he manages to do is hold them to 1 more run. So here we go. Base is still loaded with 1 out. Tony Crampton, the top of the lineup, coming up. Hernan Cruz now at 70 pitches, and Crampton 1 for 2 on the day with a ribby. Full count to him. Grounds out. They go home for 1. They go to first for the other. And he's safe. Rosario gets Lynch at home, but no double play there. So they'll stick at 4-2, but the bases remain loaded with 2 outs for Rob Johns, who also had an RBI double in the third. 1-0 count. Johns lifted into center field. Can Nino get there? He can. And unbelievably, they've held the English to just 2 runs. Those are 2 all-important runs. They're go-ahead runs, but for 3 hits and 2 walks to end up stranding the bases loaded, you have to imagine that's a little surprising for the English. They weren't expecting that. So we go into the top of the 5th, and the Leones very much still in play in this game. They've got to stop the English getting those fly balls out into the outfield. But here comes Fernando Jaramillo, the shortstop, who's 0 for 1. He's supposed to be quite a bit better against lefties. Against Mo Tuck, who's through 4 innings on just 48 pitches, 1 hit and 1 strikeout. Stonehand and Lopez coming up next. Jaramillo on the 1-1 count. Hard crack right to Darren Lynch. And it's the usual rinse and repeat we've had during this entire game. They just cannot get anything past that first base defense. Here comes Spike Stonehand, who's 0 for 1. 1 out, bases empty. He struck out back in the third here. Chops it right back to Darren Lynch, and it's another out. Down 43rd Street. Or actually 34th Street, I guess I should say. Mo Tuck suddenly locking down the lineup as Jeremias Lopez, who had that triple a while back, does not look any more likely to get one over on him here on the 1-2 count. Lopez. Oh, he does. He punches through the second hit of the night. Not just for him, but for the entire lineup. It's a single this time for Jeremias Lopez, the second hit of the game for the Cubans. And now the top of the lineup might have a chance here. The tying run comes to the plate in the form of Edelmiro Pichardo, who's 0 for 2. As Jeremias Lopez steals second easily. Man, what is it with 40-year-old men and stealing second easily on broadcast? Mount not able to get out of his position quickly enough. That puts a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Pichardo draws a walk. And there's 2 on and 2 out for Juan Cubillos, who's 0 for 2. 1-0 count. Cubillos with a shot down the left field line. McDonald has to go run it out there. That should score at least 1 run. Lopez going home, and it's an RBI double. Pichardo able to take third, and the Roses remain on top 4-3 as Cubillos comes through for his ball club there. Runners on second and third with 2 outs after that. Lopez scoring, Pichardo to third, Cubillos to second, and Pablo Nino has a chance. He's 0 for 2. Will he come up big? Will he be less Pablo Nino and more Pablo Hombre in this moment? 1-0 count. He bounced out to third base. This time he does it to short. It's an easy throw from Crampton to Lynch, and Nino is out. So, hey, the Cubans at least able to hit a little bit off a tuck there. 2 hits and a run, but they strand 2. Cuba whittles the lead back down to 1 run, but the Roses now have a chance to respond, and it looks like their lineup is humming against Hernan Cruz, who is through 4 innings on 78 pitches, having allowed 8 hits, 4 runs, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Charles Wilson comes up. He's 1 for 2. Really, his story is almost the story of this game as he puts up another long extra base hit into the outfield. They've been doing that all game. It's the big reason they're in the position they are. Charles Wilson with a leadoff triple. Just a few innings ago, this was the guy who was making errors, getting guys thrown out at home, getting caught stealing. That's what Wilson was famous for. And right now, he's sitting on third with an insurance run just 90 feet away for Ham Underwood, who's 0 for 1. Walked last time, I believe. Here. Puts one up the middle, and Ham Underwood has his second RBI of the tournament. Wilson comes home, and that leadoff triple pays off early. Underwood drives that cutter up the middle, past the diving Jaramillo, and that throw home was always going to be late. The Roses are up 5-3 as they have scored for the 3rd inning in a row. Here comes third baseman Patty Grout. He's 1 for 2, got a man on and no outs. Be very surprised if Underwood doesn't go for the steal there. He doesn't need to. Grout launches one into the right side, and there'll be 2 on with no outs this time. The English in business early in this inning. Bottom of the fifth, Darren Lynch coming up. He's 2 for 2, has a chance at a 3-hit night here. 0-1 count. Lynch lifts one into the outfield. That should easily score both runs. Nino may be able to stop one, but I find that unlikely. Let's find out. We know Underwood is scoring, and looks like Grout holds at third. It's an RBI double by Lynch, and the Roses increase their lead. They are once again lapping the Cubans. It's now 6-3 for England. Big throw from the outfield, but when you can get that kind of liner out there, that is just going to be unstoppable. Here comes McDonald, who's 0 for 1. 2 on and still no outs, as the English have officially made a 12-hit game. McDonald lifts one into left field. Pichardo running for it. He calls it off. Should be a sac fly as Grout comes home on that. And it's 7-3 for England on that one. McDonald coming in with the situational hitting. And it's man on second with 1 out after that. Darren Lynch, he'll need help from the guys behind him. As Drummond comes up, he's 0 for 2 on the day. This game is completely, I would say at this point, out of control for the Leones. Unless Tuck gets very tired very soon. Drummond sends it to Jaramillo, who throws to first, and that's out number 2. Dermot Mount coming up next. He's got a shot here of his own at a 3-hit night. Who would have thought? The 2-2 count, they haven't been very afraid of him, and he's taken advantage of it. But here he grounds out to Jaramillo, and there's plenty of time to make that throw to first. So that's the inning. The Roses score another 3 runs. They are now up 7-3 as we move into the 6th inning. Open question, what we should expect out of the Leones here as Desiderio Quiñones, who's 0 for 2, takes the field against Bo Tuck. 5 innings, 65 pitches, 3 hits, 1 of everything else. The Leones better get their stuff together here. They've been held to 3 hits and 1 walk so far. A couple errors from Charles Wilson, of course. And Quiñones leads them all with a perfectly cromulent base hit up the middle. It's a single. He'll be on first to start the inning. Desiderio Quiñones, I have to imagine, surprisingly not a fast runner. Mostly makes his living by getting big hits. Here comes Lino Rosario, who's 0 for 2. Takes Tuck to a full count, draws a walk, and here's a promising start. Tuck's second walk of the game puts 2 on with no outs for Esquilo Castro, who's 0 for 2. Can he come through in this moment? He grounded out to first. Here he'll do it to the shortstop, and they'll get the 1 out. Effectively a sac hit. He manages to move 2 into scoring position, but if Jaramillo can't get it done, and boy, you do not want to rely on Jaramillo to get this done, we're going to be in trouble. 0-1 count. Jaramillo grounds out to his opposite number. It's an RBI ground out. The Leones draw a little bit closer as Quiñones scores, so at least they get something out of that. And Crampton to Lynch get the second out of the inning. Spike Stonehand is up in an attempt to stop Lino Rosario from being a stranded runner at second. How's this going to happen? He bounces that one to Grout at third. He's got plenty of time in a good glove, and he throws it to first. The Cubans are eventually going to need a crooked number if they're going to draw closer. They're running out of innings here. But they score a run and chip away at that lead. In the bottom of the 6th, finally, the Cubans have had enough and replace Cruz on the mound. The new pitcher, number 96, Salustiano Contreras from Guanajay. Fastball, changeup, sinker, and cutter. Big defensive guy, big ground baller guy. This year pitched for Campeche in the Mexican leagues. Before that, for the Bennington Melodians, where I believe he won the 1905 New England Championship. By the way, Salustiano Contreras, a real guy who pitched for Fe, among other teams, and Almendares in the Cuban leagues in our reality. Tony Crampton comes up, so Contreras inserted in the right spot as he's going to face the top of the lineup right away. Crampton 1 for 3 on the day as the rain finally starts to fall. Crampton already taking him to a full count. Bouncing hit, that's going to be an infield single, isn't it? Cubillos can't make the play, and they've already got a man on. Crampton gets a hit here. The 13th of the game for England, and Rob Johns comes up. He's 1 for 3 with a ribby. 1-2 count. Johns lifts it. Backhand of corn over Cubillos. He can make that play in his sleep. That's out number 1. Man still on first for Charles Wilson, who's got a shot at a 3-hit night. 0-1 count. Second verse, same as the first, and Cubillos runs it all the way down in foul territory, calling off the right fielder, Quiñones. They converge, but Cubillos, reasoning he's technically before gentleman's point, grabs it, and that's out number 2. Here comes Ham Underwood to try and extend the inning. He's 1 for 2 with a ribby of his own. 0-1 count, and Underwood with the big 2-out hit. It's going to be down for extra bases as Underwood stops at second. Crampton, for some reason, decides to hold up. I don't think I would have done that in his place. He's a fast runner. He could have easily made it home, but it'll just be a double for Ham. Double Ham. Delicious. So here comes Patty Grout to try and drive him in. He's got a couple hits on the day. He's feeling good. Let's see if he'll come through here. 1-0 count. Grout does it again. Puts it through the left side gap, and that's going to score at least 1 run. It's an RBI single. The Roses back up to lapping the Leones. They are up 8-4 here. They're getting a lift on their baseballs, on the at-bats, that the Cubans are simply not managing today. And here comes Darren Lynch, who may have a chance at a 4-hit game. Actually, I should say he has a chance at a 4-hit game. Let's see if it's going to happen. 15 hits for his ball club here. 1-0 count with a 4-hit game on the line, and he's done it. It's into center field in front of Nino, who couldn't quite judge the time to it. Grout slides into third on an offline throw. It's an RBI single for the 4th inning in a row. England not only scores, but puts up multiple runs. They are up 9-4. Contreras, it's safe to say, has not been able to repress this lineup at all. He will now face Connor McDonald, who's 0 for 1 on the day. 2-0 count. McDonald grounds out to second. Cubillos throws to first, but not before this game seems to truly be just completely out of hand. England scores another 2 runs, and they are now on top 9-4 as we are through 6 innings. Perfect squares all over this board. 4 runs and 4 hits for the Cubans. 9 runs and 16 hits for the English, who have also committed 2 errors. Before we continue with this game, we're going to check around the league, see what else is going on. If you're a Vinotintos fan, good news for you. They've managed to score some runs. Unfortunately, they are still losing by 3. The Nabochli Inglas Najeren are up 5-2. They've got 10 hits to Venezuela's 5, and Venezuela's got an error into the mix. Their catcher, Diogenes Ramirez, is starting the top of the 8th against Bectrinet, who is through 7 innings, having allowed 2 earned runs, still no walks or strikeouts, which in 1906 is mighty impressive. Haiti has actually lost their lead. The Neptunes are up 5-4 against the Grenadiers, though Haiti is still out hitting the opposition 10-7 in the top of the 6th. Eric Lacroix is up with 1 out and a man on after Christian Gallet popped out against Amosa Morillal, who is through 5 1/3, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout. Not the best pitching you've ever seen, but he's holding it together so far. Wales beating the Internacional 4-1. Harry Jones is going to come up to start the top of the 8th against Ovitserov, who is through 7 innings with just 2 earned runs and 1 strikeout. Damianos Angelopoulos, old friend from the Malditos, ended that last inning. Looks like that's all we have to report, so it's time to get back to this one. Top of the 7th. Mo Tuck, 87 pitches over 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, and he'll face his toughest opponent today, Jeremias Lopez, who's got 2 of the 4 Cuban hits. If the Cubans want to get into this game, it needs to start in this inning. They need to put up, I would say, at least 3 runs here. Lopez on the 2-1 count. Another base hit for the 41-year-old. Boy, they sure picked right. Putting him a designated hitter. He's got his third hit, a leadoff single. And it'll go back to the top of the lineup. We start with Pichardo, who is 0 for 2 today with a ribby. He's drawn a walk, and here on the 1-2 count, right field launch. Oh, no! Johns makes the grab just over the line on an amazing sprinting catch. He was on that ball all the way. And that's very unfortunate because Pichardo could have nailed a base hit there. That could have been a double or even a triple with his speed. Here comes Cubillos. He's 1 for 3 with a ribby on the day. Comes up with a man on first and 1 out. It's a wall pitch. Lopez will take second. And we've got a man in scoring position. Let's see if they can take advantage of that and start the rally. Cubillos has batted in a run before with his double. He does it here again. That's going to be down for extra bases as it lands in center field. Underwood playing it off the Karen, and Cubillos not stopping at second. He's challenged, and he's in. It's an RBI triple for Juan Cubillos. The Rose is still up 9-5 now, and the Cubans have a chance at their first 2-run inning of the game. If they're finally starting to lift Tuck's pitches, this is going to be interesting. Here comes Pablo Niño, the center fielder, yet to get a hit today, but he's batted in a run. As it's now that the umpires choose to call a rain delay. And here goes nothing. Tuck at 99 pitches. Niño on the 2-2 count. Bouncing hit to the infield. It's an infield single. It scores a run. Wilson can't make the throw. It's an RBI single for Pablo Niño, and England still out in front, but they've cut it down to 3 runs. It's 9-6 for the Roses. 1 out and a man on first for Quiñones. He's 1 for 3. Could he bring them any closer? Could he make this Isidro Dama's prediction come true? 1-2 count. Quiñones up the middle. Ham Underwood running all the way for it, but it drops in front of him. And Cubillos will be laid out. Niño will be laid out at third. He goes in, and Ham Underwood with his second outfield assist of the tournament. They should fear his arm more. With 2 outs and a man on first, this situation is a lot less scary than it was. Here comes Lino Rosario, who's over 2 on the day. Man on first and 2 outs. And that's a soft little ground out to Corky Crampton, a short, and plenty of time to throw him out at first. So the Cubans show some spirit here. 4 hits, 2 runs, and they trimmed the lead a little bit. But it's up to the Roses to face Contreras and put some more runs on him. Contreras, through his first inning on 22 pitches, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, faces Drummond, who's over 3. Drummond takes him to a full count and draws a walk. That leadoff walk is definitely going to come back to haunt him. Dermot Mount 2 for 3 on the day. Going after the first pitch, and sure he does. It's his third hit of the ball game, pardon me. First of the inning, I suppose, and once again, the English are in business. 2 on with none out for the top of the lineup, starting with Crampton, who's 2 for 4. Crampton on the full count gets plunked. And that will load the bases for the second time today for the Roses. An 11-pitch at-bat against Contreras. He had thrown 29 before facing Crampton. He will now face Rob Johns, who's 1 for 4 with the bases loaded and no outs. Johns with a double and RBI here. They're going to go home with it. Cubillos throws home, and they get Drummond, so there won't be a double play, but the bases remain loaded with 1 out. And Salustiano Contreras, with 1 out, has to face Wilson and Underwood. Wilson 2 for 4 on the day. Big boy with a lot of power there. Could make life difficult, and he will. That is going to be right against the right center wall. Niño crashing into the wall, apparently, and it's up to Quiñones to reach it. That is a bases-clearing triple. Charles Wilson puts 3 runs across for the Roses. England, once again, lapping the Cubans. It is 12-6. Look at how perfectly he lands that ball at the wall. Nino runs into the wall, and it's up to Quiñones to get rid of it. By the time he does, Wilson is already rounding for third. The throw well behind him. His second triple of the night, and he puts the English aboard for the 5th inning in a row and ends Contreras' outing. Curcio Cruz from the Elefantes de Cienfuegos will now be in, number 12. He also pitched for the Palomas and the Frios. So, guy has something for pitching for animal teams and I guess bird teams. Anyway, he'll be coming in. Let's see here. His arsenal is fastball, slider, changeup, and sinker. And I think we can say with some authority that this is a man who's into mop up. They don't think they can win this game anymore. Ham Underwood comes up with a man on third and 1 out. He's already batted in a run. He's already got 2 hits. What does he want to do here? A 2-2 count. He doubled back in the 6th. Here, it's a bouncing hit to Cruz. Will he get him in time? Not even remotely. Ham Underwood just adding insult to injury here for the Leones as he reaches on a bouncing ground that gets rid of the bat very quickly. It's his 3rd hit of the night. And there are men on the corners with 1 out for Patty Grout, who's got a chance at his 4th hit. All 3 of his hits so far have come today. And Underwood goes in head first to steal second. His 2nd stolen base of the tourney. Patty Grout, 2 on, 1 out, 2-1 count. Boy, it feels like he's hit every single one to the same place. Right field, Quiñones coming in. That's a double, and the only question is whether Underwood stayed at third. He did not. We can now confirm there are 2 more runs on the board for England. Their 20th hit of the night. They are now up 14-6. The English have made an absolute mockery of the Cuban pitching staff to the point that they are now bringing in pinch hitters. Now batting for the England Roses from the Hollyhocks of Santa Fe, formerly of the Cañeros de Vega Baja, number 28, Dermot Brough. He's pitched apparently against Cruz before. Here he knocks one through the middle on the 1-1 count, and they attempt to stop another run. That throw from Nino off the field, off the line. The score is 15-6. 6 runs here in the 7th to put away all hope for the Cubans. Cruz understandably getting out of the way, and Nino rushing the throw helped no one. Grout scores, and Brough has knocked one in. He's fast enough to get around there, too. I'm actually kind of surprised that he went all the way to the minors. He was doing quite well for Vega Baja. Here comes Connor McDonald, who still has yet to get a hit in this tourney. Another ball. Are you kidding? Boy, this ump is absolutely roughing it against the Cubans. Brough will go to third on the balk there. Curcio not happy with that call. And Connor McDonald has a chance at a sac fly that could put this game 10 runs ahead for the Roses on the full count. He does nope, that's a base hit. It's going to land. Pichardo couldn't quite get a beat on it. It'll be down for a single, double. Looks like it's a stand-up double for Connor McDonald. His 1st hit of the night, 22nd for England, and 16th run, which I believe is now a team record, beating the Puerto Ricans as 15 against the Dominican Republic. The Cubans have been forced to run all over this field, and it has not gone well for them. Ewan Drummond comes up. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Yet to get a base hit in the Copa Mundial, but with a man on 2nd and 1 out, perfect situation. Not quite. That goes to Jaramillo, and that's finally the 2nd out of the inning. Drummond out at first, but McDonald heads to third. A sinker down the middle, too. And here comes Dermot Mount. He also has a chance at a 4th base hit. 2 outs, man on third. He's hit a double, a couple singles. Bounces out to Lino Rosario at third, and they'll stop him there. So they'll end the inning, but not before the Roses score 7 more runs, almost as many as in the rest of the game combined. They are now ahead 16-6. Mo Tuck, understandably, looking to complete this game. He is through 7 innings, 109 pitches. 8 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. He will face pinch hitter number 20, Abdon Hara, who appears to be taking his first swings from the Pericos de Holguín in this tournament. After long time work with Ciego de Avila, I believe he won the Ilustrísimo in 1902 and led the league in home runs 2 years in a row, also getting 2/3 of the Triple Crown in 1902 by also leading the league in 83 with 83 runs batted in. He comes into this game at 41 years old. Let's see if some of that old man strength will follow him here. On the 2-2 count. Bounces that one. It's not quite away. Oh, it's an error. Crampton misses the throw, and for the 3rd time today, McDonald, who is now at first, so that Zachary McKnight of the Matadioses de Añasco, normally a catcher, but for some reason he's in left field, number 6 over there. McDonald moves over to first to accommodate him, and he can't bring in the throw. Here comes that exact shortstop, Jaramillo, still looking for his first hit in the Copa. Full count to him. He flies out over shortstop. Corky Crampton, no problem there. That's out 1. Spike Stonehand allowed to hit for himself once again. He is also looking for his first hit of the tournament. And on the 1-1 count, he will not get it. It's a big can of corn, this time to Patty Grout at third, and he makes the catch. Finally, they are going to bring in a new designated hitter, number 20 from the Navegadores de Naguabo, our old friend Pablo Salmerón. Let's see if he can make this just the tiniest bit less embarrassing. He got 1 chance at the plate in the previous game and turned that into nothing. Let's see what he can do. Steve Mile coming in to pitch, number 31. He swings that and hits it right to Darren Lynch. So, pardon me, to Connor McDonald. Nothing there. Despite the error from the Roses, nothing matters. They remain ahead by 10 runs and have more of a chance to beat up on Curcio Cruz with the top of their lineup. Crampton looking for his 3rd hit, and apparently he's only gotten 1 off of Cruz before. Meanwhile, Cruz pitched 2 outs, allowed 4 hits and 3 earned runs over 21 pitches. Crampton takes him to a full count. He's been doing that all game. And he draws a walk. He's been on base via hit. He's been on base via walk. He's been on base via hit by pitch. So here comes Rob Johns. He's 1 for 5 on the day. 1-0 count for the speed bump. Bloops that one into left field. Couldn't quite beat Chardo. Couldn't quite run it down. And once again, this joke is getting old, but it's still true. 2 on, none out for Charles Wilson. He's looking for his 4th hit of the night. Last time, of course, he had that bases-clearing triple, and it looks like he's about to do it again. Charles Wilson nails a shot. For some reason, the Cuban defense not protecting it at all, and it's his 3rd triple of the night. The Roses have a hero, and his name is Charles Wilson. His 3rd triple here, setting a record in a single game, I have to imagine. And England now double laps the Leones. They are up 18-6 as he collects RBIs, I believe 4 and 5, but it might even be 5 and 6. Tony Crampton ties the England Roses record for runs in a single game with 4 runs scored. And indeed, they were runs, 5 and 6 batted in. Here comes Sam Underwood with a man on 3rd and no outs. He also has a shot at a 4th hit to face number 10, Mariano Sandoval from the Tabacaleros de Trinidad. He was meh during the season after 2 good 1904 and 1905 years. He's got a fastball and a curveball, so a true reliever. Let's see what he'll do here. Sandoval going to try to stop the English advance here, and he's not going to manage it. On the 2nd pitch, not only does he give up a hit to Underwood that easily could be a double, but as it turns up, Nino unable to bring it in, and it's an RBI single plus error there. It goes under his glove, and Wilson able to come in and score on that error. He wasn't going to challenge Nino, but he does. England up 19-6. They have now scored for the 6th inning in a row. They have a man on second, a very fast man on second with no outs. And here comes Patty Grout. Will he get a 5th hit in this game? Will he get his 4th run batted in? 1-2 count.
Strike 3.
Unbelievable. Patty Grout strikes out on a check swing. Fastball after a 7-pitch at bat, down and away, and he can't put the wood on it. Letting Zachary McKnight, the catcher for the Matadioses de Añasco, take his first swings in a Copa Mundial uniform here. Man on second and 1 out. 0-1 count. McKnight sends it to Lino Rosario at third. He throws across the hallway. And Jara catches it for out number 2. New pinch hitter. Catcher normally for the Mofongueros de Corozal, number 15, Alex Yap. He's also getting to take his first swings. Had a bit of a down year. He's been mostly a backup catcher for them for the past couple of years. And Yap also strikes out on a check swing, so the inning is over. But not before the Roses put up another 3 runs on 3 hits. Strand 1 and widen their lead. It is now 19-6, and well, listen, we're all sure that this game is all but over. So let's check in and see. Nope, all the other games are over because England was scoring so many runs. It didn't matter. They've scored in 6 successive innings, and all of those have been crooked numbers. So I guess it's fine if number 37, Steve Mile, comes in. After spending 1901, part of it anyway, with the Athenians Acropolitanos de Manatí, he then has played for the Macabeos de Trujillo Alto ever since. Very durable English pitcher, even though since 1902 he's been maybe a smidge above average, and that's putting it lightly. Fastball, curveball, changeup, and sinker. Maybe they're giving the Cubans a sporting chance here, and the Cubans respond by pinch hitting with number 18 from the Leones de Habana, Alfredo Quintana. 1-0 count. Bounces that to Wilson, who, once again, thank God he's that good at hitting because he drops the ball once again. That's his 3rd error of the night. 3 out of the 4 errors we've seen have been from him, and I should also note that now at first base is number 18, Maurice Bartlett, currently of the Menestrales de las Piedras. Here comes second baseman Juan Cubillos, who's 2 for 4, with a man on first and no outs. Cubillos, of course, hit that triple last time. Here he grounds out to Crampton, and it's a tailor-made double play. Tearing out the Leones, and Cubillos tries to argue with the umpire, but he cannot make it happen. What a play from the English infield. Crampton throwing to second. And Wilson, who has been such a thorn in the side of the English Roses with his defense today, redeems himself with that big throw to first. If the 6 runs batted in and 3 triples didn't do it for you already. Here comes Pablo Nino as the last chance for his ball club. He's 1 for 4. The bases are empty. There are 2 outs. Might as well go for broke, right? Also, just a second here, but Cubillos not swinging at that fastball probably overdetermined the outcome of that AB, huh? Nino, 1-1 count. That's a bounce to Wilson. He makes the perfectly accurate throw to first. And this ball game, mercifully for the Leones, is over. England beats Cuba 19-6. Absolutely brutal day to be a Cuba fan. Motuck takes the win on 7 2/3 of what was definitely not his best ball game. 8 hits, 6 runs, 4 of which were earned, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. Hernan Cruz takes a big loss. He went through 5 innings, allowing 12 hits, 7 runs, all earned, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And his 2 replacements, Contreras and Cruz, combined to get through the next 2 innings, allowing 12 more runs. Absolutely brutal. Charles Wilson with 3 triples, Underwood and Crampton apiece with 4 runs. Underwood also responsible for the only stolen base we saw from the English side. Wilson got caught and committed 3 errors, and yet somehow is kind of the hero of the game here. On the Cuban side, the best we can say is Cubillos, Quiñones, and Lopez had multi-hit games, 2, 2, and 3 respectively, and Pichardo stole 3 bases, despite never getting a hit. Of course, what we can also say is the Roses more than matched that. The only members of the starting lineup, the only member of the starting lineup to not get multiple hits was Ewan Drummond, who got none. Crampton and Johns led off with 2 apiece. Wilson, Underwood, Kraut, and Lynch each got 4. And then you've got Dermot Mount at the bottom of the lineup with 3. And pardon me, sorry, Connor McDonald, who started at left field and moved to first base, only got the 1. Absolute dismantling of the Leones. We intend to be back and recording a Game 5 that I believe is going to be Jamaica versus the Soberanos, as we try to introduce you to 2 different teams each time we record one of these games. Hope to get that done soon. In the meantime, as always, this has been Isidro Montalvo Espinosa, broadcast coordinator for Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña en Vivo. Gente, buenas noches, gracias mil, y Dios les bendiga.